Welcome back to Hamilton is Hoops on TSN 1150. I'm Katrina Squazzin with my co-host Sean Woodley, and we are very happy to be joined by the CEO of the newly formed Canadian Elite Basketball League, Mike Morreale. How's it going today, Mike?
I'm doing well, guys. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, we want to take this opportunity to kind of tee up the league since it's going to start in May. And for anybody who maybe doesn't know that much information about it, this is our opportunity to...
The place to refer back to. Whenever you have a question about the CEBL, hopefully we can answer it right here with Mike.
Exactly. So to start off with, Mike, people know you as a former CFL receiver. You played for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. We don't necessarily think of you as a basketball guy. So how did you fall into this initiative?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a bit of a funny story in terms of how it happened, just by chance. I was working in another industry and befriended person who turned out to be who is now the founder of the CEBL, but was a owner of the Niagara River Lions that played in another basketball league. And he was he knew my background, he knew my time not only as a player but also the time working with the Players Association. So he would pick my brain about player-related stuff and business-related stuff when it came to his basketball team. And over the course of time, we had more in-depth conversations about how you would properly form a league in this country that would be taken seriously, and, what would that look like and how would it operate and so on and so forth. And those discussions led to more serious discussions and then to, the formulation of a business plan to say, well, this is how I would do it. It's going to take some time. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to cost a lot of money, but this is the way that I feel, based on how other leagues have gone about running their business and started kind of new leagues, that I feel should be kind of template moving forward. And thankfully, Richard Petco is the gentleman's name. He said, all right, let's do it then. And basically handed over the blank slate and said, it's yours to build. And obviously, it's somewhat terrifying. It's in one respect, but exhilarating in the other, that we have a chance to go out and develop a league from scratch in the way that we feel will be successful into the foreseeable future. And that meant starting a corporate-based organization, single entity ownership that owns the CEBL, that also owns all 6 teams to start. And then we will move into a more franchise model as we move into subsequent years. But what that allowed us to do and allows us to do is to be fully funded at the league level and also at the teams level. So we know we can last into the future for a long time.
That's great to hear. So you mentioned, loosely there some of the other Canadian leagues that have started up in the past. And, there's the National Basketball League of Canada, which the Niagara River Lions used to play in. There's Butch Carter's league that he's trying to get off the ground the last couple of seasons. How is the CEBL going to differ from those previous Canadian pro leagues? And sort of how can you use what those leagues have done to inform what you guys are doing?
Yeah, well, I think firstly we never want to criticize other leagues that have come and gone or still there. You look at what they've done, and you appreciate what they are doing for Canadian basketball. We are different in many, many respects. Certainly, our ownership structure, like I mentioned, is one of them. We will be playing in the spring and summer months, which affords us, access to major spectator facilities. So we've made a commitment that we're going to be in very nice venues that can hold minimum of 4,000 people and up to First Ontario Centre, which is close to 18,000, and everything in between. So that's the one thing. We're playing FIBA rules, which is the international game of basketball. That's played in 99% of the leagues across the world. The NBA would be kind of the only real big outlier, which makes for a faster-paced game. It's 10-minute quarters. Games are over relatively quick, and it's good for us because we're playing in the summer. We want to get fans in and out in a relatively quick time. So within 2 hours, they can come experience the pregame, the game, and then the post-game activities and get back to their regular day, enjoying, the nice weather and what have you. And then we'll be playing with a high content of Canadian players. So 10-man rosters, 7 which will be Canadian, and then we'll have a 2-man developmental squad as well to start. And we want to be truly national from coast to coast. So as it exists right now, we're as far west as Abbotsford, BC, and as far east as our 3 teams in Ontario. We want to fill the gap in Winnipeg. You want to fill the gap in Quebec and in the Maritimes as we grow to a maximum of 12 teams in our future.
So you mentioned that you are widespread in terms of Abbotsford. You got Hamilton, Niagara, Guelph, and then Edmonton and Saskatoon as well. Why were these the cities you chose to start with? Was there something about these cities in particular that was attractive to you?
Yeah, we took a look at the top 50 municipalities in Canada, and we looked at that from, not only just population, but their economics, availability of arenas, what types of arenas, what the appetite was for basketball, other competing products in certain markets. And you just wanted to align yourself with cities that were very supportive of other programs and other sports institutions. And you really kind of tick off what's important to you. And one of them was being in major markets. That top 50 municipalities is a guideline. And as we go and fill in some of the blanks, we'll be in some of the more premier markets as well. But we knew that they afforded us, great opportunity to get in with something new and to showcase a different style and new basketball experience. And they were very supportive all along the way. One thing we didn't do was go with our handout. We didn't ask for anything. We went in, we said, this is what we're looking to do. We went to the venues, we dealt with them directly, and we paid the rate it is to lease a venue to play, a 20-game season. So it's not an inexpensive way of doing things, but it's the proper way of doing it. And then you create the culture, you create the atmosphere, and then you work in partnership with your municipalities after the fact, after you've proven yourself.
Pre-sale tickets are now active for all 6 teams. Can you talk a little bit about the response you've been getting on that and some of the numbers?
Yeah, we've a lot of great things happening. I mean, our true season ticket on sale is going to come mid-November, so that's exciting. What we have on now is our pre-sale, so you can put a deposit down and then come our on sale in mid-November. You'll be able to select the actual seats that you're looking to do. Our schedule will be released just prior to the on sale, so that's exciting. We've got great uptick. Some of our markets are just going crazy. Places like Saskatoon, all of them are doing quite well overall. So we're very happy with the response we've gotten, and it's only going to grow as we get more of our marketing efforts out there in the local communities, which will happen over the next month or so. And we've got a bunch of different things to really announce. One of them, happened today with Coach Razzo on the basketball side, and there'll be many, many more as they relate to ticketing, to sponsorships, to partnerships on the court and off the court, to player signings, coaches signings. There's just a ton of stuff coming, so it's never a dull day.
You just mentioned Joe Razzo being named the director of basketball operations. This is a guy, his resume really speaks for himself. Sean and I were talking about him earlier in the show. He is the all-time winningest coach in McMaster University basketball history. Can you explain the decision process behind hiring him and tell us what you think he's going to bring to this league?
Well, Joe is a tremendous guy, and it's someone I know back when I was playing high school basketball and playing against St. Mary's, and he was coaching there, and I got to kind of know him a little bit there, and he helped actually recruit me to MAC to play football. So, and then he, of course, was the coach of MAC when I was there. So I have a relationship with Joe where I respect him and trust him, and, besides that, he's just a tremendous coach, a tremendous leader, an administrator, and has been in all levels of basketball. We feel that we need to be as strong on the basketball side as we are on the business side, and we were very comfortable with how we're positioned from a business perspective. We feel like we've done everything right, and we have to do those same big gains on the basketball side. Joe just fits right up there with the best of them. I can't really think of too many other people when you think about basketball in this country that have the pedigree of a Joe Razzo. So we need a guy like Joe, and thankfully Joe was available and in tune with what we were doing. I've kept him kind of up to date since even before the inception of the CEBL. And to have him just makes us stronger. It grows those connections with not only players and coaches, but administrators at different international leagues, Canada basketball, so on and so forth, the NCAAs, and really helps us with our draft strategy, our player strategy, and our coaching strategy.
What can you tell us about how the player side of things is coming in terms of the league right now? Is there, a lot of talent recruitment going on? What is the CEBL going to offer players that other leagues can't?
Well, there's no shortage of players, that's for sure. We've noticed quite quickly that there's a lot of interest in what we're doing. The fact we're playing in spring and summer is a bit of a downtime in the international basketball scene, so we can attract back some of those 160-plus Canadians that are playing overseas and start the new careers of new players that are coming. So we will be working on a deal with U Sports to hold a combine and draft, a CEBL combine and draft in March. That'll help set up some of our Canadian roster spots. We also will go after players in free agency and work with other leagues to help with international talent. So 3 of those 10 spots could be players from all over the globe. And we want to build our developmental rosters, which local up-and-coming kids that just need that next opportunity to play or practice with the big guys and see if they can't turn that into a career representing Canada in the future. So those things are always ongoing and, constantly getting updates from different players and different people and agents and so on and so forth. So we like the fact that Joe's there to help us get through that landscape because you have to be a basketball player and a basketball admin person to kind of know the landscape. And, we're really excited about that.
Similar to the CFL, you mentioned that this league is going to have a ratio when it comes to Canadian players. Can you break that down a little bit and just what those numbers are going to look like?
Yeah, so we'll have 10-man active rosters, 7 of which will be Canadian. So we'll ensure that there'll be 10 or probably 2 Canadians on the court at all times. The other 3 roster spots will be international players. Like I said, they can come from any descent. They could be U.S., Turkish, Chinese, Australian, you name it. And then we'll have 2-man developmental squads, which will predominantly be players that are up and coming, like I mentioned, perhaps high school students that can't get into university or in between university and their next step along the way that just need time to develop. There'll be spots that we, would predominantly look to try and get local talent to help also in the community. And our players will all have community endeavors that they'll have to do. So no different than the CFL. They'll be there to play basketball, but they'll also be there to serve and work into the communities and really get engaged in them. So you'll see these players come to town in April, and they'll be there right through the end of August.
That's exciting to hear. In terms of, this might be a bit early for this question, a little premature, but where are people going to be able to watch this league? Do you have plans in terms of broadcasting? Is that something that you guys are still kind of in the process of working out?
Well, we're in the process of working out the bigger picture or the minute pictures, but from a 100-mile level, we will have our own CEBL TV site where we'll live stream all the games, which will be great. So you'll have access to all of our games at all of our venues across the world, theoretically. We have partnerships that are lined up to help us view the games or show the games in Latin America. We have relationships ongoing in the local areas in terms of having regional broadcast opportunities, and also the desire to one day move to a more traditional national broadcast. And that's just all in the negotiation stages. But at the bare minimum, we'll have our own TV network that will live stream all the games.
That's exciting to hear. Mike, this has been really exciting. I got to say, I'm super looking forward to there being a team in Hamilton in particular. But the most important question we have for you, what's your basketball game like? What's your playing style? Can you dunk? Well, what's the Mike Morreale playing style?
I can no longer dunk. At one point, I could get up there. I could tell you what, I didn't always have the softest touch around the net, but I'd sharpen these elbows, boy, and I'd grind it out underneath. I was never afraid to muck it up under the boards. I always took a lot of pride in that. That probably carried over into my football days. I was never afraid to take a hit, but you won't see too many high-flying dunks out of this guy anymore, but I can probably bang around under the boards just a little bit.
I'll have to invite you out to my men's league one weekend. We'll have you on there to set some people straight, knock some elbows, throw some hands. That's the kind of stuff you need at men's league, I think.
You better believe it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. We really appreciate it. And like Sean said, we're really looking forward to the launch of this league come May.
Great. Listen, guys, thanks so much. Good luck in your show. I think it's fantastic, and hope to be on board for a few more of these along the way.
I think we could figure out a time to get you on.
We'll definitely have you back.